Hello everyone, welcome to Utility Jude's ration size programmes. In these short films I'll be telling you all about food in Britain in World War II. Well, that was a nice cuppa. I've popped my week's ration in the larder and put the meat in the meat safe to keep it cool and to keep the flies off it. But now I'm going to show you the food that wasn't rationed. As well as our week's ration, there was some other food that the government were very keen to make sure that we all had a good supply of, that we could all afford to buy because they kept prices low, because they were very important items for our diet. Now, 5 of these very important items that were not rationed and easily available are flour, which we can use of course to make cakes, buns, biscuits like my biscuits that I had earlier, and pastry. Then from flour, of course, bread. The government insisted that we would be importing enough wheat to make sure that we had as much bread as possible and that it was easily available. By April 1942, I would not be able to buy a white loaf like this anymore, as all our bread was brown. It was called National Wheatmeal Loaf, and the reason why white bread was not allowed to be made and bought was because it wasted a lot of the grain from the wheat. We needed to use as much of that wheat grain as possible, and so therefore it was brown bread only after 1942. Another cereal like this flour that wasn't rationed is oatmeal. Oatmeal comes from oats. They grow here in Britain, and we were ploughing up many of our animal pastures to grow oatmeal instead. Another item that was in good supply, imported from America, from our chums out there, soya flour. Soya flour is from a bean, the soy bean, and it's full of protein. And we would be encouraged to use this to add to lots of our recipes to give it a much more meaty goodness that we might have been lacking from the small amounts of meat we could have on our weekly ration. And finally, homegrown and in good supply, potatoes. Potatoes were never rationed during the war and were in very good supply, and we were encouraged to use these as much as possible. In fact, to eat at least a pound in weight of potatoes every day, each person. There were many other items that weren't rationed. Fruit and vegetables, for instance. Hopefully we would all be digging for victory in our gardens, and rather than growing flowers and pretty plants, we would be using every available space to grow items such as turnips, where we could eat the turnip itself as well as the leaves, carrots, parsnips, leeks, all the vegetables that help to make our meals go further. Having a garden might have been difficult, so the government allowed parks, football pitches, any green spaces to be dug up and given over to allotments for people who had little garden, so that they could grow as much vegetables as they could. So fruit and vegetables generally in good supply, but very much part of our unrationed food that we would use a lot. Now, there was a lot of other food that wasn't rationed at all, and that wasn't because it didn't need to be rationed. It was because rationing means a fair share for all, and you cannot ration something that you haven't got, or that you've only got a very small bit of. So you may have been able to get peanut butter very occasionally. It wasn't rationed. Sometimes the shops would have it in. You might be lucky to be in a queue outside a shop. You might not know what you were queuing for, but the word might come down the queue that that shop has Nescafe coffee. And you might be one of the lucky people to get a tin of that coffee before it runs out. That was the way with the unrationed food. Most of it was unavailable. When it was in the shops, it couldn't be rationed. There wasn't enough to give everybody a bit of it, so therefore it was potluck as to whether or not you were the lucky one to be able to buy it. The food that we had on our week's ration and fruit and vegetables wasn't just the only food that was available to us. You as children were very lucky because during the war you would be able to have school dinners every day of the week that you were at school. And these would be cooked school meals. It might be something like stew and dumplings, followed by rice pudding and jam. But as long as those who were looking after you had twopence to give each day, you could have your school meals without having to give up any of the coupons or using any of your ration food. That would be on top of your week's ration. My daughter, she works away from home in an ammunitions factory. Now, it's a big factory. There are more than 250 workers there, and her factory has to give her a works canteen where she can go and have a lunchtime meal every day that she works. She doesn't have to give up her coupons. She doesn't have to take any food in exchange. It is very cheap and very good, and she loves her canteen meals. Now, you can still go out for a meal. There's a British restaurant just down the road from where my husband works, and he goes every day to have a meal in the British restaurant. It's not a very posh meal. It might be something like tripe and chips or sausage and mash, but he does have a cooked meal every day that he works, and he doesn't have to take his coupons with him, so that's a food on top of his week's ration. However, for me at home, I have to make do with some vegetable soup for lunch, and then we eat together in the evening.